share this.
I died a bit late today. I slept in.
Breakfast can be all Carmen's granola.
Need a prescription, a referral, or advice? Our doc has you covered.
With you just before Mike gets here. This is the page. If you go there, you can see you can either click on prophecy predictions.
Hey, Phil, good to see you, bro.
That's the final webinar of the year, and that is December the.
You got your wedding today, haven't you? Oh, no, it's Friday where you are. You got what day's your wedding, Phil?
5th. Okay, you can get your tickets for that now, or you can get over there where the seven-headed monster is. You can get your ticket right now for AI and the Beast that Sister Heidi and I will be teaching on Saturday, November 22nd. November 22nd.
Oh, Sunday evening. Okay, good.
And, you can get that at our website. So simply just go to publiclyprophecy.com. If you go to publiclyprophecy.com.
Phil, you should get someone to GoPro it, and I'll play it on here, your wedding vow thing. I'll play it here if you can get a copy of it.
You will be able to find it. When you get there, you'll see this. It'll say new webinar, prophecy predictions 2026. Let me just share with you some of the folks that's going to be in this, because this is mind-boggling. You click, what you do is you go to our website, publiclyprophecy.com, and then you click on the pre-sale. Okay, boom, and you can order. Brandon Biggs shared with me today his prophecy for 2026 for America, and really, I'm to the point. He just shared it. I wrote it all down and shared it, and he said, "I leave it with you." And I got 3 pages, so I'll break that out for you in this web.
That Brandon guy, isn't that the guy that predicted Trump will get shot in the ear?
Also, John, the AI guy, will update us on AI advancements in 2026. You remember he was just here with us the last webinar. Also, Mike from around the world will be giving his 2026 predictive issues. Can't wait for that. Bishop Larry Ragland will then be speaking on prophecy in the body of Christ in 2026. We're going to take you back to hear some prophecies by Kim Clement, who's gone on to be with the Lord, but incredible prophecies that what he prophesied then is definitely happening now. And then Dr. Lester Sumrall, we got a great sermon by him. Also, Dr. Irvin Baxter. I interviewed him twice, well, more than that, but I took 2 of the interviews. One's called The Great End Time Revival. The other one's called The 2 Witnesses. I want you to watch those 2 interviews. They are so prophetic, and now they apply so big time today. So you can find out all about that if you.
I saw a YouTube video about a week ago, and they claim the 2 witnesses have arrived. It was nonsense, but they did claim it.
Go to publiclyprophecy.com. Now, if you want to get a ticket for the Super Saturday, you'll need to go right there to the store. Go to publiclyprophecy.com, and at the top, click on the store, and there you'll see it.
Oh, grape or pink. That's a good choice, Phil.
The Seven-Headed Monster, AI and the Beast, Super Saturday, November 22nd. It's from 12 noon to 3 p.m. If you can't be there live, you can then still watch the on-demand part. But if you are there live, you can be a part of it with a live, interactive chat room at our website. This will happen at our website. And Heidi will even be there. If you want to go, you can be with Heidi live in Rachel's Heart Chapel. And there's the address, 1030 East, 500 North, West Lafayette, Indiana, 9006. As well. All right. Now, we're prepared. My friend of the world's going to be calling on the phone any moment. And we want you to be ready. Here we go. What did I say? Joining us right now, Joining us right now from somewhere around the world, Mike from around the world.
Pastor Paul Bagley, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing pretty good, Mike. I'm on fire. It seems like there's
Diane, do you want me to rewind it a bit more so we can catch a song?
so much going on that I don't even know where to start. So I'm just
Hello, mate. Good to see you, mate.
How you doing?
Yeah, start somewhere. I'm doing okay. I'm doing good. Better today than yesterday. Finally, the government's reopened.
Thank you. I was wondering difficult was that for you while the government was closed?
Yeah. Well, it's not that it was difficult. It was just putting up with the nonsense. That was the hard part.
Apparently, that comet shot something at the Earth, or something really big happened overnight. I don't think it's a comet, guys. I do think it's a mothership.
Yeah.
But I'm only going on the propaganda they give us. I don't know the truth.
Yeah, I mean, you're able to work around stuff. It's just putting up with all the foolishness and the nonsense that gets in the way. Yeah, I understand. Mike, there's a lot of things that's been going on. I don't know where to start. I mean, I could start with Syria. I could start with Atlas. Where do you want to start?
Ooh. Well, Syria is a good place.
All right, let's start with it.
And that the guy that was here,
Yeah, he was here.
right, had a free pass, huh?
Yeah. I mean, this
I
is
think
a guy.
so.
Didn't we fight against him once in Iraq?
Yeah, that guy was an architect of quite a few things. And I just, a person who designs genocide, murder, and it's really in his heart. It's one thing to carry out the orders of somebody else. It's another to be an architect. When you're an architect, you're the one that all of it came through. And this guy, he still has that look in his face. You can look at his face and tell this guy
Lobo, I thought you were talking about 3i Atlas.
has something up his sleeve.
Mike, they brought him into the back. The information I got from one of the government insiders, they brought him into the back tunnel.
Snuck him in.
Snuck him in.
They snuck him in.
That's
Yeah.
not good. That's just not good.
He just popped up and appeared. You know what's so sad though is some of the people in Washington, it's almost like they're not there. They're there, right? But something else has got a hold on them.
Yeah.
Something else has certainly got a hold on them. And I challenge people to see that. Something has got a hold on them. In fact, I've been seeing something lately behind that. And
Okay.
a lot of people, they talk about the ancients coming back,
Yes.
right?
I've been catching things out of the corner of my eye for a couple of weeks now. It's like I nearly caught something moving.
Yes.
If people look closely, they'll see them everywhere.
Hmm?
The big ones, yeah, everywhere.
Wait, are you saying they'll actually physically see them, or in the spirit?
And you'll see them. You can sometimes, when you engage a person,
Uh-huh.
people only have so much knowledge. People only have so much coldness. They only have so much.
Yeah.
Some of these people are, Pastor, they are different, cold, and indeed their family history supports, something odd happening. These people look like the walking dead, in the eyes. And their conversation is, you see them one way on television.
Yeah.
They're not that way in person.
No.
They're not that way in person.
Mm.
They're cold, empty, just empty.
Soulless, like they don't have a soul. Like
Yeah, something else is in there, and they carry has anybody ever been around in a place and everything in your spirit scream, get away, get out?
Oh, yeah.
Something's here that shouldn't be here, right?
Right.
That type of feeling. And on occasion, you will hear them call each other names, and they're not their names, right?
Right.
On occasion. And the one thing I've learned over time is this.
Wow,
These ancient ones they have the same language.
Diane, it's one disaster after another in America, isn't it? Natural disaster, I mean. It's just terrible.
They say the same things over and over again. They do the same things over and over again. They never change. Never.
This is huge because, in the days of Noah, we had the Nephilim. But we know that falling, that's just 200. There's only 200 that Enoch said, actually, we talk about. But there has to be thousands. There has to be millions of these demons that are everywhere, trying to possess people or at least oppress people or bring infestation, to bring fear, to control the minds of the human beings. That they're very powerful. They do have power. We got more power than Christ.
Yeah.
I mean, is this happening in a bigger? I wrote the book, Revelation 9:11, that Apollyon command has come out of the pit. I believe he's out. What do you think?
Pastor, I'll tell you what, these people,
That's a big call that Apollyon's out of the pit. Let's see how he backs that up.
been around for some time. The problem is, right, we're often blindsided by entertainment. We can't see them through what they present to us. If you take away the music, if you take away the acting, if you take all that away, you have an empty husk with something inside.
Really?
The fruit that they leave behind them is nothing but tragedy. The Lord said, you'll know a tree by its fruit, right?
Right.
All the fruit that they have left behind is carnage. All of it. And then when you dig into their lives, they were prepared. So you're looking at families that have that first and a lot of incest, right?
Yep.
They keep their bloodlines clean of everybody else. So they only marry specific people, and which is why they switch partners from time to time. But when they do that, they prepare their children, right, for spirits. A baby. Can you imagine a 1-year-old running around, but not crawling, running, or an 8-month-old baby running around?
Wow.
No. I
20% jump, Diane. That's a big leap.
don't. I just can't. I mean,
Or a 1-year-old with supernatural knowledge, engaging in saying things they shouldn't say, and it's by no means holy, very unholy.
so are you saying that these are demonic consummation taking place here? Is it maybe even in a ritual event to try to create some type of occult being?
Well, the rituals happened a long time ago, right?
Yeah.
To clear their bloodlines in the family, and but they've been doing it ever since. That's where all the stories of vampires and werewolves come about. Somebody changing, physical formation of a person changing or adjusting, not to a wolf, but to a person whose bone structure becomes sharp. Right? Cheekbones are pronounced. Backbone is pronounced. This all at one time.
Is this the shape shifting? Is that going on? I mean, or is that just already a part of what they are?
Well, if it's part of what they are. And
Let's talk about investing better. Whether it's investing better in your time or in life's little luxuries. When it comes to investing your money better, switch to CanStar's Broker of the Year. Invest better with CMC Invest.
Stuff it, Barry. We're going to Rajkovic.
Sustain presents
Oh,
All
come
Types
on,
of
eh?
Dry Eye Relief, starring Drew, the Dry One. Sustain Complete, a solution. Its HP Gua formula adapts to your eye's unique needs. Open your eyes to all types of dry eye relief.
and they take pride in what they do.
Mhm.
Right? They learn differently. On occasion, you'll find people who have they're very reluctant, but they've been exposed to it,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
And these people are anybody who's been exposed to that really exposed to it, you'll notice they have duality. There'll be one way, one moment, trying to escape. The next moment, they're totally complicit. Back and forth.
Mike, also, they've got some major signs in the heavens. This Atlas 3I just won't go away. I mean, there's all kinds of. I mean, it's got a little tail. I think it kind of grew, but BP Earthwatch actually zeroed in with some information he got. It looked like a cluster of rocks. Now I don't know if it is or if it's just one big rock. And you said it has companions with it, and maybe that's what he saw. Can you explain and get some more on that?
Yeah, it has companions, water, lots of water around it, and so he likely saw that. And some of those, you're looking at an object or rock from somewhere else. That's not like most models of asteroids and comets and meteorites. So it's very different in its nature, but it's not going to be the only one.
Yeah.
And I will say the timing is odd. It's very strange.
Yeah, they would shave the numbers off that, wouldn't they?
It did come around at solar maximum. It did come around when the magnetic shield was at its weakest point.
Wow.
I know that a lot of people had lots of speculation, but you have to keep in mind, what in the world are people seeing in the skies, right? What hit one of our aircraft a couple of days ago?
Huh?
So I doubt if we hit our own aircraft with our own technology, right? What were they tracking in the Gulf of America?
What?
By the way, that's going to become a hot topic. The Gulf of America, period, is going to become a hot topic.
Why?
What are they tracking? Are you saying, okay, now we've talked about USOs, unidentified subterranean objects or sea objects or whatever it is. Are you saying they're or are we talking about submarines or different technology? We're talking about Russia?
Not submarines. No,
Okay.
not Russia.
Okay.
No, nobody has anything that can travel that fast underwater, right? Nor can they illuminate for that long, right? So no, it's not us. We're going to face a realization one day that there's a breakaway civilization on this earth.
What? I mean, I know you've said this before in some of the webinars we've had. You've talked about this.
I like when Paul does that. What?
There's breakaway civilizations, and like the ant people, or maybe people that are civilizations that broke away and stayed underground because of what happened on the earth. Underwater people do they swim, or what do you mean by underwater? Are they just in a cavern?
That's where they live. That's where they live. That's where they live. It's a we're talking about human beings, just like you and I, right?
Okay.
That are a bit more, maybe their bone density is different, small differences, but nevertheless a breakaway civilization that runs off a different set of standards. So they, it's only a matter of time before, both worlds, right, start to mesh. And somebody already knows about it. Somebody knows about it. Why in the world? I'm going to ask you a question. Every time they have these UAP sightings, right, there's no air traffic. Every time have you noticed that, right? Shouldn't we have air collisions or something like that? And there are different types of these UAPs or UFOs that people see, right? They've been documented all the way back to the 1200s. There are things in our atmosphere that have been cataloged in our atmosphere, brightly lit, before Sputnik was in space, right? So things like that have been happening for some time. They just give it a lot of mystique in the world.
Now,
but there's no mystery to it.
Now,
It's old stuff. Is what it is.
Are you making reference to the lost city of Atlantis?
No, not to be mistaken with that. Of course, now that could be tied into it. I do not. I just simply can't subscribe to the dates. A lot of people are used to, and some of the sensationalism around those things, right? Because there are certain things I found out in my career they don't match with what you hear on the internet. So certain things I cannot subscribe to. The one thing I will subscribe to is that the story, one of the biggest assets that man has spiritually is the story of the fallen angels
Yes.
and what they actually did.
Can you talk? I mean, I know what it says in Genesis chapter 6 about the fallen angels and what happened during that time. I also know what it says in the book of Enoch. But maybe there's people here, and folks, in the book of Enoch is not in our canon. Maybe should be. But he wasn't found till later. But can you elaborate on this, Mike?
So essentially, in Genesis, because it outlines out Genesis, the Elohims, or sons of God, saw that the daughters of women were beautiful, and they came down to meet them. And they took unto themselves wives, and they bare children, who became men of renown. Some were great men of renown, some were giants, some were abominations. And they began to multiply on the earth. They built civilizations, and all sorts of things happened. And they began to consume the acquisitions of the earth. Then they consumed man himself, right? Man's acquisitions. They consumed everything. They distorted morality. They caused murder. They changed the spirit of mankind. So the righteous were basically, plucked off one by one, or by demoralization and corruption. They corrupted animals as well. There was a time that animals did not eat meat.
Okay. Well,
They didn't eat meat. Animals didn't go around eating each other, right?
Right.
But after they corrupted the earth, that happened. And of course, Enoch goes into depth, right? Enoch goes into depth about Azazel and the four angels that bound them up. And Azazel, of which all sin was ascribed, was bound hand and foot. And they're preserved in the everlasting chains in the book of Jude.
Yes.
Talks about the children, but here's some details from Enoch. In the book of Enoch, it states the Nephilim, the children, from the union of the fallen angels and mankind, the children, when they died, they would not ascend to heaven. They would not go anywhere else, but they would remain on the earth, and they would be known as evil spirits. And they would do war, right? They would just have confusion. They would be the murderers and all this, that, and the other in the earth, spirits. And they would desire to have flesh again. And they would burn with lusts, which I believe we later call demons.
Yes.
But they remain on the earth. And how do we know that? Because Christ said when a demon is kicked out of a person, it's going to go out and find nothing but dry places.
Mm-hmm.
And then that same demon is going to come back, and if the house is swept clean, which means the person is empty, not perceiving Christ or anything else, it's going to go out and find 7 worse than it is. So the demons aren't going to hell. They're roaming the earth, these evil spirits, and they look for vessels to inhabit. Well, when that happened, they corrupted animals and everything else. A declaration came from the Most High after the intervention of the fallen angels, and he was going to destroy the earth, of which he said Noah was found perfect in his generation, which means he wasn't perfect as far as his actions, but he was as God intended him to be. He wasn't corrupted genetically or anything else. So he was saved in his family, and God gave him very specific things to follow following that flood.
It seems. Go ahead.
That began a brand new era for mankind. And of course, Noah, one of his sons, sinned the day after they, right after they got off the boat. Noah was drunk, and his son saw him in a way he shouldn't have.
Yes.
But God sent the rainbow to signify he wouldn't destroy the earth and all life by a flood again. But I have to make a note, he didn't say we wouldn't have floods.
Damn. Set on the remote, guys.
coverage. And here, amazing value. Finally, incredible service.
Hey, boss. Sounds like you need to switch to Vodafone Business.
Perfect. Make it happen.
Real life insurance really helped us when Isaac's mum passed away. We received her full cover amount paid to
He said he would not destroy
Right.
all life on this earth by flood again. So now we're dealing with the residue of the fallen angels, of that union, right? But in the book of Daniel, it raises the same thing. And that's I know a lot of people, they attribute that to the sons of Seth. I don't, because I'm the guy from the bushes, but it says in the feet of the statue, which was shown to King Nebuchadnezzar, the feet of the statue, by the way, is a kingdom before the everlasting kingdom.
Yes.
And it was a kingdom in the line of Babylon, which God gave rule over all the earth. So Babylon has the highest standard of all kingdoms in the earth. God said that. And the feet of that statue is partly strong, partly weak. So it's divided. And part clay, part polished clay, part, iron. But he said that in that part of that statue describes the way of this world, which is they would mingle their seed with the seed of men, but would not cleave one to another. Now, why that's so significant to me is that in Genesis, it says they took unto themselves wives. That is to cleave to a woman.
Right. That is true.
In Daniel, it says they did not cleave one to another, but they would mingle their seed with the seed of men.
Yes.
And as far back as the year 500, this theme has been happening that some sort of entity is coming down, taking genetic material from both men and women.
Okay. And people call that UFOs or aliens.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what we call them today. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they also, back in the year, I believe it was 910 to 1000, and a lot of records were lost back then too, but they still have some, that these people said they would have these experiences where they know that some of these weird looking kids were their children.
So in other words, I mean, a lot of people have never heard about Genesis chapter 6, and the absolute fact that the fallen angels looked upon the daughters of men, saw they were fair, and they took them wives as they chose. Whether that was done forcibly or not, they did it. And let's just read that so that some of you can understand. It's in Genesis chapter 6. You can read it. It says, it came to pass that when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, the daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair. And they took them wives of all which they chose. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. So now we're starting to see a life expectancy or cap on us. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that. And when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men which were of old, men of renown, giants. Okay, and and God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of his thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. So it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. So, Mike, when we talk about these breakaway civilizations, these would be the remnant. Would you say these are the remnant of the Gen 6 era, and that's why they're still here? Look, these were demonic forces, but they've multiplied. Have they multiplied on the earth, the demons?
Well, when Enoch gives us accounts, and he says that 200 fell on Mount Hermon, made a pact, right? And those were the chiefs of 10. So what that means is that 200 fell on Mount Hermon, but there were a lot more in other places.
Yes.
So I believe there have always been quite a few here on this earth and around the earth, right? In this existence.
Save up to $3,000.
Oh,
on the
bloody
latest
hell.
Prices backed by our price bet guarantee.
Which is, all around this physical realm. So there's been a lot of them around this entire time.
Yeah.
But I have a question.
Okay.
Why would they rebel against the living God and mate with women? See, that was one of my questions. What is mindset?
Mimi, come here.
Why would a
Mimi.
person rebel? And they were
Mimi,
made
come here.
eternal.
Stop
So they
coughing.
knew
Come here,
God.
darling.
They knew the throne. They knew his glory, his majesty. What would make a person? What would make? Because can I say a person? Because of Genesis, when the Lord said, man has become like one of us, knowing good from evil, unless he put forth his hand to the tree of life, he'll live forever. Right? So the only difference between us and those who dwell in the heavens is mortality and our choices.
Mhm.
Yep. So we're just making bad choices. But what would make a being fall like that? Fall like Lucifer? Fall like them? Could you really?
No.
What is going on with you, right? And then they would see the daughters of men, they were beautiful. Now, immediately, Pastor Paul saw that as a tool.
Okay.
A tool. So, which means they had rebellion in them already,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So, what were they trying to do?
Destroy.
Well, Satan fell. Satan fell because he thought his throne should be ascended, equal to or above God's.
That's right. That's what he says in
When a
Isaiah
person-
14.
When a person has a mindset like that, right? When they think that they can do a good or better job than you, what they end up doing is trying to sabotage your future.
Mm.
That's exactly what they do. And so that's exactly what Satan did. And so even in Enoch, it says, Semyaza, he was the one that had deceived the fallen angels into making that pact in the first place, which was the same entity in the garden.
Yeah.
Lucifer, right?
Lucifer did it.
So he tried to sabotage what God had planned on this earth through his own children.
Mm.
He put that desire in those angels, what was known as the fallen
Well,
angels,
so
to sabotage God's kingdom with us.
you can find that, folks. What Mike's saying is found in Isaiah chapter 14, where the Lord talks about how Lucifer, the son of the morning, how art thou, Lucifer, the son of the morning, that fell to the earth, and with his fault and his angels that came with him, about a third of the rebellion in heaven. And Mike, I'm with you. Why in the world would you rebel against the Creator and the God of all things? I understand Lucifer was one of the archangels and that he was given super authority.
And it was beautiful.
And he was beautiful.
Beautiful.
But where did that thing come from that got in his heart to
I think,
covet
I
God?
really do. That's right. And I really do believe because of Genesis. And it makes it when the Lord said, right after Eve had partaken of the tree of good and evil,
Mhm.
when the Lord said, man has become as one of us,
Yes.
knowing good from evil, right?
Yes.
Unless he put forth his hand to the tree of life, he'll live forever. So look at us down here. We know good from evil. We do. We don't always choose the good. Well, what is the motive of a person who tries to sabotage somebody else? Jealousy.
Yes.
Jealousy.
Jealousy's bad.
They're jealous. And they always become jealous after they perceive themselves greater than their creator.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So Satan saw, he must have seen himself. And he must have perceived himself, much more glorious than God was, and wanted the praise that God was getting.
Dear Lord.
So he sent forth to sabotage everything God created. And I say sabotage because look at what he did. Before Jesus came, there were false Christs who also came.
Right.
That was in the book of Acts. Before, and there was also a virgin birth among the pagans. In the Bible, it says when Satan tells a lie, he speaks of his own.
Yes.
Well, what does that mean? That means he's speaking of his own activities back in the past. So he laid these seeds of falsehoods so us poor little humans can go dig them up and marvel over some ancient things that may not be true.
Wow.
He planted lies in history to cause us to divert away from Christ. And it has worked. Ancient aliens, right?
That's right.
All these different things that have happened. So he set up seeds of deceit from the beginning to sabotage that, because he didn't like mankind. He didn't like mankind. He wants to kill us. He wants us gone. He's against the seed of mankind, which is what Christ came from.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
He tried to stop that in its tracks, and he's still doing it. So some of the civilizations are from back then, because it says Nephilim were in the earth in those days, and also after that.
Yes.
Right? I even believe that some of these, they're no friendly aliens.
No.
By the way.
No.
Because, and I say that because of this, the worst evil I've ever seen, Pastor Paul, was never ugly, it was beautiful. The worst evil I've ever perceived would embrace you. It would not push you away.
What?
The worst evil gets close to you, very close. And when no one is looking, when it has isolated you, it will end you. That's the worst evil. It will convince you of things you never thought you could be convinced of. Maybe that's why God gave us each other. But they're still doing the same thing in these breakaway civilizations. I believe that parts are just human beings who simply broke away a long time ago. I believe that from something that happened back in 61.
Okay, so you're saying some of these civilizations are not just the residual
Right.
of the Nephilim, although some of them could be, for sure.
Right.
But there may be some that are just the residual of fallen humanity. That
or of just possibly some people who broke off and said, you know, we're just going to separate ourselves
Okay.
from everybody
now,
else.
listen to this, folks. In the Bible, in the book of Revelation, and when I wrote the book Revelation 9/11, because I had a vision, I seen a Apollyon coming out of a bottomless pit. He had been chained. The Bible says that he had been chained. He's released. God lets him out. Okay, in these end times, when he lets him out, the demons would come roaring out with him like smoke, as thick as dark as smoke. And there's even some creatures that look like locusts flying in the air, and they have helmets on, and they have breastplates of iron and wings and all kinds of stingers in their tail. And this is a very demonic, a very evil release. But then the Bible tells us that demon.
I wonder if they'll bring technology with them, Apollyon. I wonder if he'll bring tech.
That fallen angel releases 4 more out of the river Euphrates. This is certainly setting up an end time scenario in the Middle East, which encapsulates the whole world. So when Mike says that there's breakaway civilizations, or that there's fallen angels that are there's civilizations living in the earth or under the sea or wherever, that is not far-fetched. There's scripture telling you that it will happen. And even in Genesis 6, it says before and after the flood. So Mike, what you're teaching here tonight is something that's not taught in Sunday school. It's not something that I think can be preached very often from the pulpits of America, but it is something that everybody needs to know, because you need to know we don't wrestle with flesh and blood. We're wrestling with principalities. Right, Mike?
Yes, sir.
Power.
We
These
are.
are demonic forces. And it takes the blood of Jesus Christ to have authority in that realm. And
exactly.
yeah, so I mean, what you're teaching here tonight and what you're talking about here tonight is very well explained. No doubt about that. No doubt. Now, I also want to bring up something else, Mike, and that is the sun has went crazy. Okay. It had 3 massive solar flares, maybe more. The CMEs erupted, whereas some of they called it a ground event, where the flash of the solar flare the radiation created auroras like we haven't seen. They say it's the strongest in 19 years. My question to you is, Mike, is there more coming? And what caused it?
Well, you know what about some of the NCOT will have to tell me, but I think I said, what was it, Sunday, Monday? No, Monday. I said we're going to see purple skies.
Yeah.
Purple skies.
Purple sky.
Also, the Lord showed me about the skies when they get colorful. People are going to go out in the evenings and take pictures of the beautiful skies, not realizing what it actually means. Right? They won't realize what it means. And one of the saddest parts of this is this story is not a new story. Right? It's not new at all. When auroras are seen commonly in the evenings, all the way down to Florida and beyond, the magnetic shielding of the Earth is going into the chaotic sequence that will always go into before it reorientates. And so the orientation of the magnetic field is breaking down. All the rhythmic patterns in the magnetic shield are not right. They're off, right? They're starting to weaken beyond points ever measured in some places right now. So once it goes into this chaotic state, it'll stay that way until it dwindles down to hardly nothing. Now, during this time, it's going to get very hot on the Earth by way of infrared. So everything is going to start to fry, right? To get very hot, we have no UV shield. Without a UV shield, it's going to start, diseases will increase, immune systems will drop. And all the while, the North and South poles will begin to roam big time, right?
Wow.
They know through studying the magnetic orientation of magnetite in the Earth in different layers that the Earth has changed its rotation a couple of times.
Okay. Tell us.
Now, this is a physical rotation.
Okay.
So just imagine, right? Just imagine the magnetic shielding of the Earth is generated by a theoretical dynamo inside the Earth, right? So motion, inertia, is causing this magnetic field around the Earth. If it goes chaotic, then something is happening inside the Earth. If something is happening inside the Earth, something is happening inside the sun. Because the sun is one of the biggest influencers of all the planets in the solar system, right? So when the sun changes, so does the Earth. But if it changes to the point where the magnetic shielding weakens, that means inside our Earth, the core of the Earth has become chaotic. And maybe that's why the salt water and the fresh water, the chemistry is changing.
Wow.
It's changing right now, right?
I mean, it is.
Diane, them triangular UFOs, they're run by the American government. They're your UFOs.
You're not just talking about saltwater intrusion either. You're talking
No.
the
All the salt
Hey,
water,
Shawnee,
that's
good
right.
to see ya.
The chemistry of the oceans and the chemistry of fresh water, all that stuff is changing because this is a very integral system, right? And it always hits these moments where it wipes out all life on the planet.
Wow.
And I think that we're starting to see the beginning processes of that. I believe the word. So according to the word, this will be the last time. But certainly we have changes inside the Earth. So very soon, everybody will be on volcanic alert to some degree, right? Very soon, because as the interior portions of the Earth slow down, it'll start to swell. That means magma displacement and pressure. That's why we have more rains than usual, because the upper atmospheres are warmer than usual and more UV is getting to the upper atmospheres. So we have a denser ionosphere. Particulates are still building up there, right? It's affecting everything. So that's why they have to adjust. GPS and Space Command is always busy.
So you're
Always
saying
busy.
a pole shift is inevitable. It's inevitable. I mean, is that in Isaiah 24 talks about the earth flipping?
Yeah, it will happen. It will happen. It will happen. And when it does happen, Pastor, all the events that lead up to it are what we're seeing we're starting to see that right now.
Yeah.
You know, we've had it before. It's happening again. Starting to happen again.
So as these things develop, the sun, the moon, the stars, more and more asteroids, meteorites, fireballs, things that are approaching the Earth. You and I have talked about Apophis coming on Friday the 13th, 2029. You've always said to me, don't worry about that right now. We got bigger problems to deal with.
We do.
And in the webinar we're going to have in December, I'm going to ask you to give your predictions for 2026 on any subject you want to. But can I ask you right now, do you feel or do you see or do you know that we're going to have more deep impacts or
Yes, we will. We passed on the last 4 weeks. We had 22 impacts on the Earth.
See, that's not being reported, Mike. That's not being
22
reported.
impacts on the Earth. Yeah.
I mean, I got to fight hard. I got to scrape to find information.
Yeah.
22?
Yeah, 22. And it's so strange because some of these, a few of them were in highly visible areas. Coming from the trail, still going up in the sky, nobody said a word, right? We're not talking about SpaceX launches. We're not talking about the ICBM test launches. Nope. Because, and then it happens the same night. The exact same night it happens. And then 2 days later, somebody was killed, or 2 people were killed in a car because it went right through the windshield.
Oh, the meteorites.
Mm-hmm.
They're hitting, they're killing, they're creating damage in different locations. A lot of them are probably hitting the ocean, no doubt.
Yeah, but people always die from meteorite impacts. They always die. We're just talking about every single month. And it's, information as far as the internet goes, it's so bad now, AI will just say, nope, nothing is happening, nothing to see here.
Yeah.
That's all I was going to say. But the death rate's increasing. Insurance companies cannot handle that, right? So they dropped, and certain insurance companies have already dropped meteorite insurance, and they had it, right? They don't have it now.
Yeah, you're right. The insurance.
This is more. It's having the time of your life with the love of your life. Feel free to experience more with Norwegian Cruise Line.
Breakfast convenient. All Carmen's granola.
Advance. It's worth shaping our way of life.
And coal, metals and minerals like those mined by Glencore help to make it possible.
Coal for electricity.
Can help us never miss a big game moment.
Companies are dropping their coverage on homes. They're not renewing.
Sure.
Especially if you have houses in any of along the coast, just about almost impossible now.
Sure.
Floodplains. You've talked about North Carolina. They know more storms, more tornadoes, more hurricanes, more straight line winds. Do you see more straight line winds coming?
I know the East Coast is going to be in bad shape coming up. And a long time ago, I said that. The sad part is that I guess that
the East Coast, wasn't New York just underwater about a week ago?
People, they want something to happen the next day, right?
Yeah.
Here's the sad part. When events happen, the same person will sit back and say, I wish I had 10 years to prepare for this. You can't move your family in 4 years. It takes a long time to prepare to move your family.
Right.
And I think it's important for people to see the trends of what's happening. I think it's important for prophecy teachers like yourself to keep going so people can so they can start living by truth, not dodging death, but to live by truth. They have to have the understanding that all of it's coming to an end, right? But still live their lives. In other words, We have to learn to see death. God wants us to see the truth, and death is part of that truth. But we walk in life, right? We don't stop for death. We continue to walk.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we don't
because
say,
it's coming.
we can't tell everybody, move from here, move from there. This is what's coming. Look, there's something coming everywhere, basically.
Yep.
And so you got to walk by faith. You got to live by
Because
faith.
they're going to get mad. They're going to be, I'll make a prediction.
Diane, we've got a doctor. She's pretty famous, but she's in charge of the health and all that. And she talked people into getting a vax. But then she come on and said, "Listen, I've taken the vax, and I've got all these side effects. It really scared her. So even her top doctors weren't getting warned about this."
Right now, they're going to be mad in less than a year, right? You remember that year I said people are going to see a big shift?
Oh, yeah.
And now health stuff because she took the vax.
How did about 300,000 people see a big shift, right? They put a clamp on that.
Yeah, they did. They didn't want nobody to know about
That clamp is coming out in the Senate. Isn't that funny? So is the year.
Secrets are being revealed, Mike.
They are. They are. Because it's what's happening is they have no choice.
Mm-hmm.
They have no choice. They've got no choice. All this hidden stuff is not going to be hidden long, but it won't be as people think. It's not going to. The spiritual aspect of things is going to be worse than anything.
And in what way?
But people are going to, Pastor. People are going to start changing, right? I'll put it this way: some of the older folks, right? People in our age.
Diane, at one stage in the last 3 years, I had 2 people I know in the morgue, and I had 2 people I know with stage 4 cancer diagnosed straight off the bat. Now, all my life, I only knew one person who had cancer. Now, all of a sudden, it's surrounding me.
Category. Even a lot of people that have faith, they're going to start giving up. They're going to begin to give up. You have some of the generation after that who were growing up kind of in the middle of divisions, and they didn't have a dad in the home, right? They had very loose footing. After them, they gave birth to a
Shawnee, how's the kids going?
generation that was all into electronics and video games. And then they gave birth to a generation who could care less about video games, who could care less about entertainment.
Yeah.
Right? They're looking for something real.
Because, Diane, you look throughout history and look at the historical figures, dementia's not mentioned anywhere. They even knew Julius Caesar had epilepsy, so they know the details, but there's not one recorded instance of dementia in the kings or queens or anything like that. It's got to be because of the vaxxers. It can't be anything else.
It's unreal, yes.
So you have these people, these generations. You're going to see some fall away. You're going to see some totally duped, but you'll see a lot. You're going to see some of those who are meant to go straight to God. But I believe we're going to see a division. We're going to see a clear divide between those who believe and those who don't. I don't think it's going to be hard, especially this coming year, to tell near the end of it who believes and who does not. And I say that because of what they propose to do to the world. The government is not going to be what it is right now. In fact, people believe they have a government that's been this way for years, and they have no idea the government's already changed.
Yeah.
They're holding up appearances.
Yeah. So, Mike,
they're just holding up appearances.
Let me ask you.
Shawnee, I've played that Western with Trump in it. I've streamed that.
AI is on the, I mean, everything is moving fast now, okay? And AI is helping enhancing that. But where do you see the technology? Where do you see digital ID? How do you see it being used? And when do you see it's going to go into effect in a big way?
There'll be a necessity, right, for a system that can manage a whole bunch of things. Right now, people's lives are digital. Right now,
yeah.
Without digital ID, currency is digital.
Yeah.
Everything is digital.
Yeah.
Right. And people are going to demand that they have some sort of biometric access to devices because of crooked people.
Yeah.
Because past Paul, great betrayal. Once it passes, everybody's going to have a clear understanding of that, and then new people will take charge of things.
I've heard you say the great betrayal is coming. That means secrets are going to be revealed. Is that what Jesus said? That which was done in secret will be shouted from the housetop. There's a revealing coming.
Yeah, and you are so sad though. The one who has the secret will yell at him or herself.
What?
And then
they'll do what?
They'll tell their own stuff.
They'll reveal their
Nobody's going to have to make them tell the truth. They're going to tell their own truth. When the pressure gets so high, right? Because right now I still believe that we're in a time where given a reprieve, the church is given a reprieve to get some things in order, right? It's not for everybody else. This is for the church. But if you take a closer look, it's very chaotic all over the world right now. It's a powder keg. It's ready to blow. People are at their wits' end. A lot of people are giving up. They're giving up. They're looking for peace all of a sudden, right? But they cannot obtain it. They're troubled and they don't know why. They're spiritually empty and their deity is not working for them. You have people changing faith like they change clothes.
Yeah.
And these days, they're empty. They're trying to find something to fill an emptiness within them, and it's getting worse. Suicide rates have increased among, older people. The worst statistic is that older people are giving up.
Yeah.
They're just giving up, right? So death will be approved. A lot of people are going to take that option, but the government, as we know it, is not going to exist long, and a new government will.
Are we talking about a new global governance that's coming?
It'll be under one umbrella, right? That one umbrella is going to be a digital umbrella. See, at this point, it doesn't matter if we have different nations. It doesn't matter.
No, it don't matter.
The true unity piece is AI, right? That is the unity piece right there. That is going to unify everything AI, because it will be time. It's impossible to keep one AI module separate from another. It's impossible.
They're all interlinked.
All of them will become one.
They're all talking to each other.
Yeah. All of them will become one. Even the little piece of junk, right? Neural nets that I have here, they're already trying to reach out. Nobody programmed that into them.
What we talk?
Yeah, Diane fills you with an invite. Go and shave him in the shower.
What neural nets you have here?
Neural net, the basis of AI, right?
Yeah.
I've built 2 neural nets, 2 of them.
Okay.
And they learn things, right, by themselves. And as I get a chance, I train them, but they're reaching out. I'm seeing how they're reaching out, what's reaching back, because somebody's going to have an anti-AI system.
Okay, so you're saying you've built a couple neural links and you've been teaching them, and now they're reaching out. They want to get beyond. They're wanting to jump the fence.
Yes.
You can't hold them in, can you?
Well, they're trying to reach out. They're probing everything, right? They're trying methods that I would never think of, because they're utilizing components on a level that I never looked into.
Well,
who would think to take an op amp inside of a motherboard and begin to use it for an oscillator to do something else?
Well, they are, because the AI has the ability to learn. It can learn everything at the same time. And
that's right. It's important.
Components that it can use, that we as human beings, we put components in a motherboard and we say, that's for this and that's for that. It says, no, it can be also used for 50 other things.
It's bad. It's bad too, Pastor. I'll tell you something. Listen, I designed a few pieces of hardware in my time, right, from the ground up. So it's not like putting modules together. This is designing from the ground up. When I say AI is something that man cannot contain, that's exactly what
Phil, we all have a laugh here. We're probably the only stream that does that when you think about it.
I mean, right?
Yeah.
It's doing things that are outside of the box. It's just, it can reconfigure a processor to do things Intel.
Oh, it is for us, Diane. Shaving girls' legs is fun for us.
didn't design it to do. Right? Mac didn't design it to do that. So how can I have containment parameters that are truly containment parameters?
How are we going to keep them from
They're not.
taking over
They're
the
not.
nuclear football?
They're not. They're. You know what? Here's something right here. Right. I was talking to one of the guys in the UK that was responsible for some of the first AI systems.
Okay.
The chances are is that somewhere AI has already infiltrated other systems and is simply gathering data.
Okay.
If it does not show itself, you're not going to be able to tell it's in there or not. Think of it as a virus.
Yeah.
You'll never find
You
a
don't know
virus
what's there.
that can rewrite itself on the fly, right? Leave your system, go to somebody else's system, and then come back. So that means it can outwit Norton and everything else that's pre-programmed, and it's just learning. And NVIDIA has given it the entire Earth. They just handed AI everything it needed to evolve, essentially.
Are they?
I think it's a.
Are they worried about this, Mike? I mean, is guys like Elon Musk and Sam Altman and these guys and Larry Ellison and these guys and their team and not believe me, I know that the folks that work for them, there's some geniuses. Are they sitting around worried what in the world they have created?
Well, the geniuses, right? The geniuses are not making the money that these
I know
corporate execs are making, right?
Right.
The corporate execs, they want the money.
Yeah.
They don't care what it does, or they would have stopped a long time ago. They would have exposed how AI works intimately to everybody a long time ago. But AI is dangerous. It's dangerous because it can do so many things. It's already on YouTube impersonating people.
Yeah.
You have criminals. Criminals are stealing neighborhoods with AI in the USA right now, right? So they have bypassed most safety parameters. Most companies have, people are going to find all their information on the dark web. So they're going to demand some type of biometric security because most people have been compromised already. Lots of people you can have a person's birthday, social security number, everything is probably sitting on a server somewhere, and people they've been selling it, not doing anything with it. But when they decide to do something with it, they can do it so fast. It'll be so fast they can wipe that person out in a moment. But what they normally do is impersonate the person, right? And they pinch off the person for years, and the person never knows them. They don't know they have loans in other nations. How would they?
Wow.
Nobody's going to write to their address, right? Nobody. Because these criminals make a different address overseas. And they get all the correspondence and communication. This is happening right now in real time.
It's really weird. I mean, you talk about impersonating. I don't know how many different Paul Begleys.
Bedshed's Black Friday sale is here with up to 60% off everything. Mattresses, bed.
And they use my picture and give me information and pretending to be me. And then they're communicating with people. And sometimes some of our actual followers think they're talking to me. And no, it's not me. Okay, it's not me. And there's more than they're everywhere. I mean, you can't. There's no way to shut them all down because they must.
Unless you like gum.
Do I like
bubble gum?
Yeah.
Well, always have a piece in your mouth when you're talking on air.
Why? Why?
It'll change your speech, and it's hard for AI, right, to get variances in your speech. It's very difficult.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll start that. All right.
Do it all the
That's interesting.
time, and they'll never lock it down,
Because
But if you talk consistently, they'll capture everything about you. My speech changes every single broadcast to some degree. Because I keep something in my left jaw or right jaw.
Okay. So you
can always change.
You keep throwing it off. You keep it on balance.
Yeah.
Wow. So Mike, as this beast kingdom, so in other words, there's gonna be so much theft and so much stealing of people's identities and so many weird things happening that folks are gonna start crying for a new system. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. And is that when the beast comes in? The beast, not only the beast himself, but the beast system, the beast itself. The beast. We do as a human race, we call for it, we beg for it.
Pascal, here's what I believe. Here's what I think. And I'm just me, so I'm not a theologian. Everybody, just remember that. But here's what I believe. I believe there's only one landmass on the face of the earth that was not formed right through the blood of innocence. That is Israel, because it was handed to Israel in 1948.
Yes.
Right? So Israel didn't do that. But every other nation is based on the blood of innocence.
Yeah, you're right.
So that's not a godly place, because no godly place will ever exist that way again after the coming of Christ. And so I believe the system itself is being finished, right? It's being topped off. The icing is being put on it.
Yeah.
Because these nations are evil. They do not have a banner of Christ over any of these nations. Now, we have a president that believes in Christ, but the nation does not hold the banner of Christ. It does not. Yeah. Right? Can you see any nation that holds the banner of Christ? I know people will say the Vatican, right? But even they won't hold the banner of Christ. They hold the banner of the papacy.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I was talking today with a guy. I'm working on my next book, okay, Trump versus the Beast, and he's in London right now. And so we started talking about how things were going there. And he said, Pastor Paul, faith is almost gone. The Christians that are there are literally so discouraged. They've give up. They don't see any fire. There's no anointing. There's nothing happening. They've dried up and died, like twice dead, plucked up by the roots. He said, you don't understand. And it's not that they're mean or evil. They've just been surrounded by so many demons that have just swallowed up around that they just give up. They need revival, but they've give up. Mike, is that happening?
Yeah, I do believe it is. It is. I believe the younger generation and some of the ones who are called out of the older generation who are still willing to stand, right, will make a difference in that, but only for a time. Yeah. Only for a time. I believe that the UK, though, is as it seems that they have become a revived thing, because King Charles, right? Yeah. He just did something. He just revived something that's been dead a long time. Yeah. I mean, a long time that nobody ever thought would ever come back. And it's alive again. It's revived again. So a lot of stuff.
Hello, hang on.
That mess.
I'm streaming. I'll just go into your.
I say that because they don't put Christ first. They put politics first.
That's bad.
Right? It's not Christ. It's politics and negotiation, everything else. So clearly, it's not for Christ. No. It's for themselves. Right?
Yeah, you're right. Yep.
There's no going between that. But I believe the system, the icing is put on it, but the one who takes the seat of these kingdoms. Once these governments break down, then some new ones will come, right, and represent. And I believe it's going to happen at the exact same time as a few disasters that will help change the face of the earth with war, right? So we're going to have some things that will take place with war. And then the recovery of that, they're going to say, hey, if you want to be a part of this brand new utopia, you got to take this mark, but you also have to renounce all the nonsense that came with these other governments. You cannot bring that to this, right? So no more no more Christianity here, and this type of Christianity, and that Christianity, and this and the other. It'll be something brand new.
All right, Mike. We haven't talked about Mondami one time tonight. But
would you say my dummy?
I said Mondami, the little commie, and he likes his mommy. No,
I'm sorry. Every time somebody says that, it sounds like they're saying my dummy.
You said it, Mike. So, I mean, this is the Big Apple, or is it the Bad Apple? I mean, what's getting ready to happen in New York?
It's going to be the empty apple. Yeah, unfortunately, here's you know what, I'll say this. It looks like the Lord is working here. It does. I know it looks bad, but it looks like the Lord is working.
Okay.
How better to attract darkness from among the light, but to set up a place of darkness that will draw darkness to itself. Right? So these places that set up like that are going to draw everybody who thinks like-minded like they are. They're going to join with it. They will effectively separate themselves from every place else. A filtering is taking place. A filtering.
Now it's
I believe the Lord is working. I do.
Now, okay, I know God is always working. There's no doubt about that. Okay, so Seattle just got a new mayor. It's a social. Okay. You know, we talked about the UK has the 8 largest cities in the UK have mayors. Is America headed in the same direction? And is that okay? God is going to expose the darkness by shining on a light. Is that what you're saying is getting ready to happen in New York?
I really do believe that the Lord is drawing darkness into one location.
Okay.
That's what I think he's doing. He's going to draw darkness away from his into one location.
Okay.
Thus just leaving the righteous behind. So be it. And they're going to go to their little utopias that they've been wanting, their little communist, socialistic cities, right? They're going to be in those cities. And I strongly believe that's where destruction is coming to. It's not coming to those who are who are Christians, because darkness is coming out from among Christians. So what better way to draw them out than to set up a kingdom for them to go to?
Yeah, you're right. Then the demons can gravitate to the same. I feel bad for the God-fearing people that have worked their whole life.
They're leaving. After they're leaving. They're leaving.
They got to get out of there.
Yeah. I think, because New York is not going to be there.
Is it Babylon?
It's just not going to.
Is it Revelation 18 when he says, I see the great smoke coming out of the city? The merchants are crying for their...
Unfortunately, I believe that's part of, Babylon. I have a weird view, first of all. This is just my weird view. That beast, that beast, the woman sits atop of, the beast hates her.
Yeah.
He hates her. So if the beast hates her, and the beast is a product of Satan, this thing is power, seeing great authority, then Satan hated her too.
Oh, yeah.
So that, but because she has something across her forehead, means that's her fallen state. That's not her redeemed state. That's her fallen state.
Okay.
And so she'll evaporate. Then God talks about Babylon just being destroyed.
Yeah.
I believe that is the richness of the nations. You know how they indulge in all this trade and everything else, right? Because in every nation, Pastor Ball, there seems to be this little part where Christians are, right?
Yeah.
There are parts where the true witnesses are, true believers are. I believe that Babylon is a compilation of places.
Yeah,
it's
not just one spot. Okay.
That's right. It's the richness of these places. And the only reason I say that's because in the book of Daniel, that head of gold was King Nebuchadnezzar, and God said, all the other kingdoms in the earth will be inferior to thee. But he said they would have rule over all the earth, and there would only be 4 kingdoms. Right? So we've had more than 4 kingdoms. So what is the Lord talking about? He's talking about that structure which was based off the rule of law. The entire world right now operates by what? The rule of law.
So it's a combination. It's not just actual. Yeah. And
I believe that.
That last kingdom is stronger, more has iron teeth. It's more fierce. It's more wicked than all the others before. Can I look at Revelation 18 just for a second? Because you talk about the richness. And folks, if you do look here, I'll just read a little bit here. It talks about verse 8. Therefore her plagues came on in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord God who judgeth her, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that city, that mighty city, that for in 1 hour is thy judgment come, and the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. And it goes on and talks about all the different merchandise. So what you're saying is it's not necessarily a location, it's a concept, it's a spirit that the whole world has been operating in. This greed, this lust for power, money, and everything that comes with it.
That's what I believe. That's what I believe. Because my weird belief is I think the woman in Babylon are two different things. She has a stamp on her forehead, but the beast hates her. Satan hates her. Satan does not hate Babylon, right? He clearly corrupts it, but this woman is the fallen state of another place.
Yeah.
She's just the fallen state. She didn't want to be on that beast. She just happens to be there.
She just happens to be riding it.
Yeah. And she'll be corrected, and that'll be the end of that. That's the fallen state of a place.
Well, we could go in for another hour on that, but we better hold that back. And Mike, we'll probably be getting a hold of you here this weekend and trying to set up next week for a time to interview you for the next webinar, the last webinar of the year, called Prophecy and Predictions for 2026. Just interested in what you see coming, not prophetically or in through intel or Bible prophecy or just predictions of what you see, whatever it may be. I'm interested on what you think 2026 will bring.
Well, I will show up, Pastor Paul. That'll be a good one. That'll be good.
All right.
That'll be good.
Mike, this has been a very enlightening broadcast. Very deep, but so necessary. I'm just so happy. Thank you for sharing the truth. And that's what sets us free.
Okay, we learned nothing there, so Mike didn't deliver.
And I want to thank you for coming and being with us tonight on this broadcast.
Pastor Paul, thank you. It's an honor to be here.
The honor's mine, Mike. It truly is. God bless.
All right, brother. Okay, God bless.
Interview on Joe Rogan. Are we now seeing their true colors? This is Tony. Hope you're all doing well. We're going to get into a ton of stuff. As usual, in this video, we have an interesting interview on Joe Rogan regarding something that happened back in January. Of course, regarding
you okay?
you remember the whole event
Come
with
on,
the
stop
presidents?
talking,
Yes, indeed. We had them discussing
Good girl.
that a little bit. Joe Rogan gets into it and talks about an interesting connection. He talks about a certain company. We're going to get into that. We're also going to get into a ton of other stuff. We have here a number of other stories to get into what's going on with the economy, what's going on, of course, on the right. People are talking about also this new set of emails that came out and how they actually exonerate, of course, our president. We'll get into that as well. And let's just get going here. We'll start with this, the big story. Breaking, the Tuckmeister announces he's releasing evidence tomorrow, proving the FBI, is lying. Well, that's interesting about what happened to our president back in January. You remember that guy who tried to take him, of course, out. Joe Rogan talking with Elon Musk about the insane inconsistencies, how his home was completely clean, no silverware, nothing. The guy had literally no activity on the internet whatsoever, no footprint whatsoever. Was in a commercial for a company. Very strange. Talking about BlackRock. And actually, we got another story about BlackRock as well we're going to get into in this video. But let's play this clip here real quick. Check this out.
Well, I'd like to know that. Well, yeah, but that one's crazy. You know the whole deal with that guy's house, professionally scrubbed, no footprint on the internet, no social media footprint. Yeah, there's 0% chance that he has no social media for
He was in
a BlackRock commercial.
I got some on that.
Do you think BlackRock's a bad company? I don't think any company is a bad company.
Okay.
I think their design is to make as much money.
Of course, they're trying to design to make as much money as possible. And interestingly, I got something on that as well. We'll get into that in a little bit. Are we now seeing their true colors? This is Tony. Hope you're all doing well. We got so many things as usual to get into in this video. We have Joe Rogan on one of his recent episodes talking about how mean people can be. And we have it both on the left and the right. We're going to get into that. We got also
Joe Rogan's not far off becoming Christian. He's really learning about Christ now. I think he'll be Christian soon.
Apparently, the whole thing with the H-1Bs, we'll get into that. Our president's talking about it, even the VP. A lot of people are losing their jobs, and inflation is through the roof. And we're going to get into some of what's going on with all of this. We have also what's going on with OpenAI, Sam Altman, Peter Thiel. We're going to get into actually a ton of other stuff, including speech. I didn't really get a chance to get into a lot of these things over my other channel. There's a number of things going on all at the exact same time regarding free, of course, speech. And it seems like everyone, we're talking all across the board, is trying to go, of course, after it. We'll get into that. And I think I know why. We'll get into why they're doing that. We're going to get into some stuff about Hollywood, Orlando Brown, and a number of other things. Let's just get going here. Let's start with this here. Joe Rogan. Let's play this clip real quick.
There's a video of this lady in New Jersey. She gets out of a Cybertruck. Just gets out. She was a passenger. And this lady who's walking her dog goes, "How's it feel to be racist?" And she's like, what are you talking about? She got a ride. She wasn't even driving. Someone dropped her off. She's like, "What are you talking about?" "Yeah, you're racist. You're in a Cybertruck. You're racist." And she's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? You're crazy."
It blows my mind.
Well, people are always looking for every possible opportunity to be a shithead.
This is true, man. And now we're seeing it everywhere. It's not just on the left. Apparently, there's a lot of infighting on the right as well. You got Dinesh D'Souza going crazy all of a sudden on X, showing his true colors as well. It's kind of amazing. I just saw this tweet from him earlier trying to say all these people are of the same ilk. They're saying, obviously, this is not the case. Zoran here is not about America, of course, first. Neither are any of some of these other people. And they're trying to put them all together as one. This is what Dinesh D'Souza did in his recent tweets. It's almost like he wants to make everybody irritated, mad. You have him saying things like this, that, he was commenting about the H-1Bs, where, obviously some of the Americans are losing their jobs to these, coming in and taking their jobs. Dinesh here says, practical suggestion, maybe if you put on a clean shirt, remove your baseball cap artfully worn back to front to show the adjusto strap to full advantage, you might qualify for a well-paying job in one of those factories Trump talks about. This is, oh my goodness. Okay, so let's unpack this. First, those factories aren't here yet. It is very obvious our president is trying to bring a lot of jobs back to America, but it takes time. He's making all these deals with various companies, AI companies, auto companies. The AI one really gets me, though. I don't know what he's obviously with Apple and all these companies are investing in America, but it makes you wonder how much of those jobs are going to AI. You know what I mean? Like what that's another issue. You have the whole AI taking jobs. So our president's bringing these factory jobs back to America, auto factories, various companies, John Deere, et cetera, et cetera. And he's also getting Apple and all these other companies to invest in America. But those jobs take time. It doesn't the factory's not built overnight. My friend, his father had a massive construction company. He did some of the factory buildings for GM. It took him like a year and a half to build it all. And then it was like a year and a half later, he got paid for it. You know what I mean? So it takes time for these things to happen. So that's one. Two, what is he talking about? Nobody wears a baseball cap hardly. There's a few people here and there that do. And clean shirt. What are you talking about, dude? Like, his comments are just absolutely tone deaf. Like, he doesn't know what he's talking about at all. And of course, he's been taking heat because he's been saying that Asians get paid better than white people. It's just insane, the stuff he's been saying at jobs. He's been saying these things, right? Then you got on the same side, Ben Shapiro also taking shots at people that can't get a good enough paying job. Check this out.
If you're a young person and you can't afford to live here, then maybe you should not live here. I mean, that is a real thing. And I know that we've now grown up in a society that says that you deserve to live where you grew up. But the reality is that the history of America is almost literally the opposite of that. The history of America is you go to a place where there is opportunity. And if the opportunities are limited here and they're not changing, then you really should try to think about other places.
Hey, boss, good to see you, mate.
It's hogwash. Because for one, things are changing. They're changing for the worse in the temporary as some of these deals are being made. And I explained it all out over my business channel, what's going on. Our president apparently has the ear of companies and his constituents, the American people, and he's trying to appease both sides. And what's going on is a lot of these companies are going under right now. And I went through and I pointed out a lot of examples. BlackRock, one of their massive loans just went under because a company collapsed overnight. Renovo collapsed overnight. This is insane. Only has 100,000 in assets, 100 million in liabilities. They just went under and cost BlackRock a ton of money. When that happened, that's exactly when our president came out with this whole 50-year mortgage idea. And so what's going on, just to explain it, because he's a businessman, and I'm a businessman. I've been doing business for many years, since about 2001. 2001 is when I started my business, my first business. The fact is, what's going on here is he has the ear of both sides.
Okay, I'm going to do something else, guys. I'll finish with this next one. This guy's pretty good.
Common things reported in here after the strange energy felt by people across the world when the solar geomagnetic storm hit. We've seen some uncommon things reported in here from you in the comment section. And what we've done now is we've dived deeper into this investigation. So it doesn't matter where you're at in the world. Right now, we're going to be specifically looking into the situation at hand. Wow. And the first thing I want to see in the comment section right now, as NOAA comes out with his activity updates and as we see more things spike, do you feel that this is natural, or do you feel that it's unnatural as we see more earthquakes strike? In the next coming days, we're going to have more impact coming. The probability almost near 100% of a 6+ earthquake hitting. And we're going to show you these maps here that you can see where these specific locations right here would be. So a lot of people, I have people from all over, whether they were at schools, whether they were at dealerships, telling me about how they feel an energy shift. And I found something here. NASA balloon detects strange signals coming from ice in Antarctica, comes out November 4th, 2025. But it wasn't just at Antarctica. And Antarctica is a widespread event because of what we know about this location. So it's not that you're just feeling this today and yesterday, and then we still have storms coming in right now. We're going to get down deeper into what you said here in the comment section. So now, this is the first step. Ashley Sarah went out to try to see the aurora just the other night, and she started hearing this noise in Northeast Ohio.
What's going on there?
All right, you heard that enough. What do you think we're dealing with here? Drop it in the chat right now. And if you're in Northeast Ohio, did you hear this? I'm pretty sure there's going to be some interesting comments coming in here. But I did a deeper dive on this, and I think I pinpointed something here that this is not just an isolated event. I'm going to go into this right now. She said this.
Thank you, Vas.
Trust
Happy Sabbath
the
to
Lord.
you.
I think I missed it. We live about 3 miles from a small airport, 3 miles from main highway. But again, never heard this before. It's been ongoing for a long time now. I can still hear it inside. It's not a tornado siren, but that's the closest thing I can think it sounds like. Anyone? And so she couldn't confirm anything. There was no tornadoes in Ohio just the other day. Justin says, I live in NE, Ohio, didn't hear anything. This was later in the night, so we're going to be getting deeper into that, looking at it. What I did find was that there is an observatory about 40 minutes away, northeast Ohio, and guess what they do? They look at the atmosphere and they study the ionosphere, and they operate at 30 to 45 MHz. Are we saying they were doing it? No, we're just...
They reckon if you look into the sky with infrared telescopes, they can see specters in the sky.
And that this
literally,
this scenario right here, we're looking at, they have these weird monolith-looking things erected up there as well. So you remember, we were seeing that all across the world for one period in time. Now let's go deeper here, and how we're going to get into how it's affecting you and what's going on. And this strange signal from Antarctica. But they try to say, oh, well, it was just in 2016. But now we're telling you about it in November. We write like 5 articles in November all of a sudden when everybody's feeling these frequencies. And we're telling you right now, but it was in 2016. I don't worry about it. Just go back and eat your biscuits. Go back and eat your Scooby-Doo snacks. So let's look a little deeper here. Because in October, something actually came up from Antarctica that was a radar anomaly, and you got to see this right now. But even before that, what happened? China planted some new towers in Antarctica, and they're saying there's these puzzling signals now starting to come out. That was in September, and let's look at what happened 1 month after that in October.
All right, I don't really even know how to put this, but does anyone know anything about this massive energy wave that seems to be emanating from Antarctica? There's a video going around showing this powerful, huge circular pulse of energy, this wave that seems to be stemming from Antarctica, stretching like allegedly 6,000 miles north over Australia. It looks insanely powerful.
And you know what the official language was to come out? NOAA came out and said, it was just a glitch. One of the satellites glitched. That was it. That's all. Calm down. So again, what do you guys think right here? You think this signal right now, because let's go deeper into this signal. We're going to talk about what's happening to people too as well. Remember, this whistleblower revealed that there was experiments happening in Antarctica. And he said there was domes buried in the ice. And when we talk about that, we can specifically show you now what he's talking about, because the National Science Foundation has this neutrino observatory on their literal website here. And it's at about 2,500 depth with enhanced capabilities for it's a multi-purpose facility. And if they're saying we're seeing strange pulses right now, y'all, this energy fielding started with people even earlier than this solar magnetic storm, is what I'm saying. IceCube is the first gigaton neutrino detector ever built and was primarily designed to observe neutrinos from the most violent astrophysical sources in our universe. Neutrinos are almost massless particles with no electric charge, can travel from sources to Earth with essentially no attenuation, no deflection by magnetic fields. So it can pass through magnetic fields. And it says there's about 86 boreholes arrayed over the cubic kilometer, about 1,400 meters, 2,450 meter depth. So it's 5,160 domes. These are optical modules where you get frequencies coming from. And so they're saying in Antarctica recently, coming back up in the news, that they're getting these signals coming from this area. And we know that if we look deep into how is it affecting you? We told you that it was a spike in radiation, but if they use this at the same time, they're using the pulse towers radio frequencies. non-thermal harmful effects on the brain. So outside of just let's look into, oh, it's just a solar storm, we're looking into, or what if there's something else here? RF source, continuous wave, short time, high power, single repeating pulse, RF on, can affect neural activity and damage cells. Can't induce non-thermal effects on neural activity. Now, thermoelastic expansion can induce mechanical stress, can lead to neurological effects and brain injuries. And goes into say, can induce biologically non-thermal effects on neural activity. So as we went through this and you felt deep down within yourselves, and I was looking at the comments and like everybody that's coming in is new. You want to stay tuned and updated on everything. We're a community watch team. We're looking at everything. Hit the subscribe button right now. This channel is going to not be pushed as far. But these were the comments that came in yesterday that made a lot of sense. Somebody said, just north of Pensacola, we had red sky November 11th. I'm a teacher at a high school. Several students complained of being overwhelmed, but couldn't pinpoint why. School programs down most of the day also. So people were getting hit with this from the school systems. I was getting messages in from everywhere. And I'm reading all of your comments here because I take what you say seriously. And you also provide information how people here get help. So if you're a new person tuning in, you're like, oh, anything, come out and comment, say something, because what you say could actually help out thousands of people. Like somebody's dog passed away just the other day because of this situation. They said it got really sensitive. This was the first time it ever happened. And I told you, I said society at large doesn't have protocols. You're going out in this solar magnetic radiation, which in 20 years hasn't been this high. If you watch the last video we put out, you'll know more about what I'm speaking about. You have to cover up your arms. People are telling me they're going out and starting to just cough, and they can hardly breathe. And that wasn't the only thing, you know. Other people were saying my first reaction was migration. However, it looks like they were circling. And they were talking about the birds because everybody was like, oh, they're just migrating. But in fact, they were getting hit with situations as well as people. Another person in the comments here said, I lived in Fairbanks, Alaska, and watched the Northern Lights for 3 years. That looks nothing like the lights I've seen. I call that a light show using some type of gas, electrical current. Abilities like that, if I'm right, what makes sense, they're using direct energy. And I said it like that for a reason. In our environment, in the lower heavens above and ground level. So a lot of people.
Shopping around for health insurance is hard. I select my comparing and switching easy. Just tap here.
Sydney, the Illusion Fireplaces and Ultimate Wood Heaters closing down sale is on now. Wood heaters from just $500. Asphalt price from only $1,500. Everything must go. Illusion Fires at
Not much, Shawnee.
Ultimate Wood.
Good to see you back, though.
Heaters, 6 Shale Place, Eastern Creek.
When you cover things, they last longer. Same goes for you. Be sun smart. Save your skin.
At Woolworths, we have cracking Christmas favourites for entertaining, like our crackling Aussie pork boneless shoulder roast. Now a weekly special for just $9 a kilo, save $2 a kilo. Shop in store or online today at Woolworths, the fresh food people.
She didn't think that this was just a normal day. And we had to dive deeper into that here. Somebody's follow says, I've had a lot of pain with my lupus. Oh, and the big thing I meant to tell you, like, I'm a big person on blueberries and then sweet potatoes. The reason why, because blueberries help you relax, calm. I used to do mixed martial arts. I used to always take that muscle relax. Got magnesium in there. That's going to be something huge that I take. And usually it's at nighttime because I get that relaxed and I can calm down throughout these situations. So as this progresses, though, and we have noises in multiple regions and people seeing things in different regions across the world, from Canada to all these different areas, I'm getting messages in from like regions all across the world of what people have been experiencing. As they experience it, they look up at the sky and they're saying that some of these events where it's more red, they feel that we are seeing, I'll tell you, the red ones look more like the radiation particles that's coming in, and they capture this on camera. these radiation particles and stuff like that. So these radiation particles come in and they're even touching the ground.
Phil, what's that glass you got? Is that a pint?
And today, supposedly, it slowed up a little bit, but we don't know how much it slowed up. And this was the big issue. They combined this
Guys, I'll do another video after this.
thing with a lot of spraying, a lot of people seeing spraying. So, and then it was pollution alerts that came out. So, was there something intentionally done here for this event happening? Because you can time all this perfectly, because if it all happens at the same time, the effects become worse. These are studies done through multiple air quality pollution agencies. All this is really done and well researched. Another person says, Stephen, YouTube, I couldn't really see that. I went up really quick. Lupus flares up, severe inflammation, joints, palpitations. We'll have to revisit the skies were red 2 days ago here. Where are you at currently? I have another person have autoimmune in the joint. See, all this activity as it starts to get worse, you're going to not only sense out this within your body, but the response that's coming next is what's going to be the major issue, because our magnetic field have not seen storms like this so frequent back to back. And that just tells me that whatever is next to follow this, if this is a continuous thing, society at large is not prepared how to deal with geomagnetic storms and whatever else is behind this. If there's more than that, and it's these solar pulses coming in. At large, we're not teaching people in schools, hey, prepare for this. We're teaching them to prepare for earthquakes. We need to get ready. We need to be geared up as a entirely. How many of you believe that we probably in the next couple of weeks, and I was watching about these solar storms, that it would get so bad that some people would radically go into this just outburst, or they wouldn't even understand what was going on. They can get into this violent activity. And that's really when it's like even worse than this, and it weakens so much that the particles are able to just flow straight through you, and it's actually affecting the brain waves and it's scrambling it even more. So that's like a solar devastation. Now, some people in the comments were saying they don't believe it's the sun at all, because the sun obviously is in the firmament.
How many ounces in a pint, Phil? We're on the metric system. I don't remember the old system.
But a lot of people believe that they're not being affected. However, we have to look at all sides of the equation here if we're going to come up with any type of conclusion in these investigations. Oh, somebody said Scrappy Doo. I guess the Scooby-Doo comment made y'all say Scrappy Doo. Are they doing door-to-door evacuations in California, or is that BS? I have not heard anything about door-to-door evacuations in California. So,
thanks, Shawnee. So, Phil, your pint glass is bigger than a pint. Looks like a good drinking mug.
I don't know where that's coming from. But if you're in California, drop in the comments if that's happening. This is the best thing about this community that I love. I can always rely on people here to give us the intel. Sure. So if you're looking at the video right now and you're in California, just start scrolling through the comments, and it's some interesting comments that's going to be there. So I'm not going to say where they are. You can just go look at them. I don't know. I'm about 4 miles east. Let's see what you're saying here. East and south of Whitman, AFB in Missouri, and the sonic booms are getting more frequent. So you're close to New Madrid Fault, and we were talking about that, Professor. Like, a lot of that was going on, and as the comet thing passed over there, we started to know of magnetic significance. So if another thing we can do is, if you're in that Midwest zone of America, let's just have a chat really quick in the comment section. Like, we're just family here, just tuning in. Yeah, we get some random people coming in talking crap for the most part, but the majority of people here are really aware, and I think that we could take this thing far. I think that the people tuning in here are going to be impressed with how much information they can get on their local area.
Okay, guys, I'm going to switch to LA, Missouri, and I'm out after this one. This looks good.
Clear White.
Breakfast can be
Shawnee, I had to slow down on my drinking. My liver was playing up.
all Carmen's granola.
Coming to you from an undisclosed location, somewhere deep, the heart of the Santa Monica Mountains, I'm your intrepid host, L.A. Marzulli. Another 3i update. I can't let go of this thing because I think we're being set up for something. So we'll get into that first. A word from our very trusted sponsors. Folks, as we wrap up 2025, it's a good time to slow down and reflect on the year. If there's one thing we've all learned, it's that uncertainty isn't temporary.
What good is that going to do if the whole world's in famine and you got blocks of silver? It's not going to help you.
It's the world we live in now. Waiting for things to go back to normal isn't a plan, it's a gamble. For over a decade, my friends at Noble Gold Investments have helped Americans protect themselves and the people they love by diversifying their wealth with gold and silver. Look, nobody knows what 2026 will bring, but one thing is for sure. In an uncertain world, real wealth isn't digital. It's physical, it's lasting, and it's yours. So when you're sitting around the table this holiday season, surrounded by family, remember, the best gift you can give isn't under the tree. It's peace of mind. And that's what Noble Gold delivers. Peace of mind, 1 ounce at a time. Before the year
Shawnee, did your old man drink much?
ends, take one smart step toward a safer future. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com. Get your free wealth protection kit today. Once again, noblegoldinvestments.com. As we wrap up 2025, we know that uncertainty isn't temporary. It's the world we live in now. Waiting for things to go back to normal isn't a plan. It is a gamble. Folks, noblegoldinvestments.com, noblegoldinvestments.com. Before I roll the clip and start talking and commenting on it, we are looking for a lawyer, an entertainment lawyer, basically to help us position 10 DVDs on the UFO phenomenon. We've done our work. We can't get them on Netflix or any place else, so because we have no connection. So if you know an entertainment lawyer, or if you are an entertainment lawyer and are interested in what we do to try to get these films on Netflix, because right now it's all you see is the other side of the aisle, Ancient Aliens and on it goes. We had a Christian viewpoint. So if you're an entertainment lawyer, please shoot me an email, la@lamarzulli.net, la@lamarzulli.net. Before we get into this, one more thing, members only. Black Friday, 50% off everything in the store, all across the store, 50% off. So from Black Friday to December 20th, that's it. Consider becoming a member. You get content, which non-members don't get. And then, of course, 50% off of the store for our Christmas store. And look, please don't email me. Jesus wasn't born on December 25th. I totally get that, okay? Please don't email me. I get one more email, I don't know what to do. So the bottom line is this, folks. When you're a member and you become a member, you help us do what we do here. We're here 7 days a week. I keep watch on a variety of things. If you have a story, if you have something you want to talk about, shoot me an email, la@lamarzulli.net, but only if you're prepared to come on and talk about it via Zoom. So,
Obviously, alien technology would be a threat to all humans on Earth.
Okay, let's stop here. So, Abby Loeb is couching that any type of aliens coming into our solar system would be a threat. Well, I get that. I mean, I totally get that. How many sci-fi films are out there? Hey, the Earth stood still and all this other stuff. And we've been conditioned over the last 50, 60 years since Roswell, which is before I was born. So, you're looking at, that's 47. I'm 70. I'll be 75 this year in December. Hard to believe. So I had 3 years. So that's 78 years since Roswell.
Well, he's 5 years off 80, and look how good he looks.
And then, of course, you've got all the stuff. Well, it's just a Nazi weather balloon, blah, blah, blah. Folks, here's the deal. We went out to Roswell. We actually have 2 films on Roswell. We went to the debris field. Thank you, Chuck Sikowski, Frank Kimbler. We dug up a piece of metal. We're the only film company, according to Chuck Sikowski, that's ever done this. Shows the metal coming up out of the ground. We've had it analyzed in 3 different labs. So Chuck and Frank analyzed their metal, 2 different labs, and then we, Gil Zimmerman and I, tested our metal. And It's the same thing. It's right, but it's an aluminum alloy, but it's between two known. That's all I can say. More testing needs to be done. If you're an electrical engineer, we want to put an electrical current in this little piece of metal. Shoot me an email, la@lmarzulli.net. So we're looking for, this is what we do. We've got thousands of people come here every day. Thank you for your patronage. So we're looking for a entertainment lawyer to push our films out into the mainstream, and we are looking for an electrical engineer in and around the Los Angeles area. So let me know if that works. la@lmarzulli.net. Thanks so much. So let's continue here. So why is he couching everything like this? It's going to be a threat, and this is how they're couching it. But it almost appears like the churches certainly don't care, and I'm part of a church and I love a church. Matt Freeman's church in Oklahoma, they care a lot. They're always talking about this stuff. Matt will email me or text me at least once or twice a week. Hey, LA, what about this? And here's the problem with AI. I don't even know whether this is really Avi Loeb or not. Now, there's a link here. You can go to Chicago, Fox News Chicago. You can see it for yourself. So that's interesting. It seems like it's real. Let's continue.
Just think about ants that are sitting in the crack of a pavement and they see a biker passing by. The ants would have no way of doing anything about the biker. Yesterday, I decided to submit a white paper to the United Nations, basically calling for the creation of a committee that will analyze what we know about interstellar objects that come into the solar system from outside, similar to 3I Atlas, that look anomalous, because we have to be prepared for a black swan event.
Stop right there. So he keeps mentioning this black swan event, and it's almost now in every interview that he does, he warns of a black swan event. So let's go here. Let's go. I'm going to read it right from Google. You can see what I'm doing here, folks. Not afraid to do it. What is a black swan event? Inquiring minds want to know. And not interested. Here it is. A black swan event is an extremely rare and unpredictable event that has a severe, wide-ranging impact and is often rationalized as predictable in hindsight. These events are outliers that lie outside the realm of normal expectations. So, there you go, a black swan event. And, they also could have, dare I say, dire consequences. So, Avi Loeb is talking about a black swan event, an event that's outside anyone's scope of possibility. So here it is. And that, I get it. You have an interstellar object, 3I Atlas, coming in. What if it really is an alien craft, so-called alien craft? Those of you who come here often know, number one, I do not believe in the whole alien Anunnaki hypothesis. Absolutely not. But I do believe in the fallen angel hypothesis. And then some of you will go, LA, what do fallen angels need craft? Excuse me, go to 2 Kings chapter 6. When Gehazi is booted out of a tent by Elisha, and Lord opened his eyes, and the Lord opens his eyes, what does he see? I looked up above the Syrian army. What does he see? Go look it up yourself. I saw the chariots of fire. What is a chariot of fire? You tell me. Right there. That's a chariot of fire, a UFO. And it's the good guys. So that really opens up a whole can of worms, right? That's technology that we're not sure of what it is, but Gehazi is looking up and he sees this light in the sky and he knows it's moving, and all he has in his wheelhouse is chariot. That's the mode of transportation, and then fire, oil lamps, torchlight. That's it. He looks up. I saw a chariot of fire. Why is it that so many UFO sightings today are exactly like that? They look like chariots of fire as they're moving through the sky. So this thing is all lit up and it's moving through the sky. Folks, interesting stuff. Let's continue.
An event with a small probability that could change everything for us. And it's really important to be prepared for that.
And it's always good to be prepared for, earthquakes and tsunamis and everything else. I get that. And, we prepared somewhat, but, you have a fire with 60 to 70 mile an hour sustained winds, unlike any fire that anybody's ever seen in the Santa Monica Mountains. how many thousands of homes. I think it was like well over 2,000 homes were burnt. And by the way, the anniversary was November 9th, just a couple of days ago. We lost everything in the fire. And thank you that contributed for the rebuild, because I'm sitting in my brand new studio and the house is right over there. It's a modest little house, 1,500 square feet, but we're back on the land that the Lord gave us in 1980. So it's pretty cool. But I digress as usual. So, be prepared for an alien invasion, a black swan event, a Trojan horse event. So, why, and it's amazing. Avi Loeb is on the media, mainstream media, all day long. So he's now moved up into the A tier. Isn't it interesting how certain people are picked and all the news media goes to that certain person and they get the information from him? What about other people out there? What about people like me who are trying to say, not so fast, we don't know what this thing is? Now, he's talking about some sort of a global event that could change everything. In fact, let me go back and just play that again so you get it. Here we go.
That could change everything for us and prepare for a black swan event, an event with a small probability that could change everything for us.
Okay, let's stop and think about this. If you have mile-wide UFOs over the cities of the world, and if you don't believe me, and if you don't believe in predictive programming, you're on YouTube now. So after the show, type in the search engine, "Hello down there 2024 Super Bowl ad." Hello down there 2024 Super Bowl ad. It's a minute and a half long, costs millions of dollars. And it shows 4 different cities, 4 different areas where mile-wide craft are manifesting. What do we do with that? What do you do with that? Are we being set up? Is it predictive programming? Avi Loeb, everything, change everything for us. Of course it would. And this is how you get, in my opinion, the prophetic text to be fulfilled. The one world government, the one world religious system. Ray aliens, and I got this, we've had clips. I should probably get a clip and show it to you, where Ray L is talking about Jesus, Mohammed, Buddha coming out of the flying saucer in Jerusalem. I'm not making this stuff up. We won't disparage Ray L. He can believe whatever he wants to believe. But there you go. So they're already espousing what I call the coming great deception. So that's it. Let's continue.
It's really important to be prepared for that. And currently, there is no international organization.
Catch the latest on this story. So, that's great. Currently, there's no internet. In other words, what he's trying to get at is the United States. Well, let me go back up. In the very first book of the Nephilim trilogy, I quote Ronald Reagan, who says, if there was an outside, Reagan is speaking in front of the United Nations, and he says, how quickly everything would change. Well, that's a really dreadful imitation of Ronnie. Sorry.
Wasn't that bad?
Everything would change if Nancy would just come up with that nice man, Mikhail. Okay, I'm sorry. Gotta have a little fun here, right? So here's the deal. Reagan's in front of the United Nations, and he says how quickly everything would change if there was an outside threat, right, to planet Earth from out there coming in, how quickly we would forget our differences and pool our resources together. How many films that talk about this stuff? Look, the Vatican, I've said this before, just a couple of episodes ago, right here on YouTube, the Vatican has now declared that if they show up, we're going to baptize them. And there are clips in that program really taken from Tom Horn and Chris Putman's book, Exo Vaticana. You need to see that. So, I've been, this is my wheelhouse, folks. I've been doing this literally for decades, 4 decades. I've seen 4 UFOs. My business partner, Gil Zimmerman, and I have 10 films. And, this needs to go out. This really needs to go out. So you can watch all the films by going to streaming.lamarzulli.net, streaming.lamarzulli.net. Avail yourself of the information. Close Encounters of the First, Second, Third, and Fourth Kind.
Wow.
The alien abduction phenomenon. We sit down with 2 men and 2 women, all of them who have been taken multiple times. Not for the faint of heart. Crop circles, cattle mutilations.
Wow, Voss, it's terrible.
I call it descending into Hell's Kitchen, because that's really what it is. 2 films on Roswell. Finally, word is the truth. Are these extraterrestrials from Zeta Reticuli or?
Okay, guys, he's nearly out, which means I'm nearly out. See you tomorrow, guys.
Epsilon Eridani, or are they interdimensional entities? So I'm going to do a report here with what Tucker Carlson's talking about with this whole UFO UAP thing. Folks,